I'm Valentina Wilson in your community. Today I'm with Fatia Ahmed. Fatia, thank you for joining me. You're the founder of Rise Above Abuse Now.
Yeah.
Tell me where you're from and your story, the backstory.
Thank you so much for having me here. I'm from Ethiopia in East Africa. I was born, raised half of my life there. And I am the mother of three children, beautiful children. Um, what inspired me? We all have a story. So it is my story also. One of my son who was affected by, domestic violence, and my children actually experienced that. But coming from Ethiopia, is a lot of things that we don't talk about, especially when it comes to sexual abuse. And what it lead me to human trafficking was I was molested when I was 5, and that it did not stop. And as a child, when you grow up in community, say that you're not supposed to hang out with boys. You like if boys sit on the chair, they get up, we're not supposed to sit there because we've been told you're going to get pregnant by just sitting, you know. So therefore, and also I witnessed teenagers being kidnapped and raped. When they report, if that man he does not marry her, she's not worth it to the family and the community. So therefore, I saw teenagers that hang themselves and burn themselves. As known my situation, I was molested by extended family, and when I was getting age of 10, 9, I was already acting up. I just want to run away because the abuse did not stop. And also, my culture, they believe that engagement wedding, which is you have to be pure, you have to be virgin. And I knew already, like that age, I wasn't. It was not just molestation, I did research about what is molestation. It's like touching, grooming, but it was not that for me. It was more. And it was rape in that age. So, and I just felt like, okay, I do not want to embarrass my family. And that age, I didn't want to take my life, but the choice is to escape. And I escaped a few times, age 9, 10, and my mom, she catch me. Then later on, that's what lead me to human trafficking because it was place they called Djibouti. It's 6 hours when you take training. It's a lot of younger. That's the place that we run to. Is refugee. They have a little bit better life than my country, and I met summertime two sisters with their mother and oldest sister, and they offered me. I used to be on the street selling cookies, selling boiled potato, and all that. And they saw my vulnerability. They say, "Hey, come with us." They would give me clothes and shoes, and when summer is over, you can come back with us. So I escaped with them. To make it short, the oldest sister, the mother, they were trafficking them. They were 18 and 17. So I was just targeted, you know. And so I experienced that, and then I escaped from there. So my whole life, it was like running, running. I had my oldest son, very young age.
17.
Yeah, 17. And when I came back, I was another country. So when I came back home, I lied to my family and saying that I was married, but I was not married. I came back and pregnant because if I did not say I was married, they would not accept me. I would get kicked out, and I want to have the baby. So my parents, my mom and my sister, my older sister, convinced me, say, hey, if you want to come back to the house, you have to say those things. So they will lead me to tell my uncles, to tell my dad that I was married to Djiboutian military. He was not Djiboutian military, actually, he was French military, my oldest son father.
And you were not
I
married.
was not married. So because my background, my parents and my dad, especially in being religious, if you're not married, you cannot have a child. You have to be virgin, but they don't know what really lead me to escape. You see what I'm saying? They miss all part of my life when I was a
The
struggle.
abuse, the molestation,
Everything.
the rape.
Yes.
And another component of all of this is that you were not able to get an education.
No.
And we see that that happens to a lot of girls in certain countries with certain religions.
So for me, I attended school until 5th grade. When I was going to 6th grade, like I was a struggle, you know. And when my dad and my mom got separated, my mom she can afford to send for me to continue my education because it's a supply you need registration if you have to pay fee every month, so she can afford it. That's why I was on the street selling cookies, boiled eggs, and boiled potatoes, and to help out with my mom that age. Imagine, you know, I'm not the only one. A lot of children go through that. And because of that, I didn't complete my education. I just recently got my GED.
Yay!
Thank you.
That is wonderful.
Thank
And I
you.
am so proud of you. And we'll get to that in a little bit. I want to fast forward some and talk about you did finally meet an American man,
Yes.
a U.S. Marine,
Yes.
and got married. Tell us about your pathway to the U.S.
So again, Djibouti came this place for me to escape. After I had my son, and it was not allowed to do back home. I wanted to. Now this time, I voluntarily went to Djibouti to find job. And when I found job, I was working at the casino, and then I was working Sheraton Hotel. It's all combined, owned by one owner, and reception. Then I was working for another Ethiopian lady that has a club, and that's where I met my first husband. And I knew him for less than 2 months, and then he said, I want you to come to America. That's what, so I got my fiance visa in 2005, September 11. That's when I got here.
And I'm sure there were some good times, but
Oh, yeah.
then you experienced domestic violence.
Yes. So now looking back, so music became normal. It's not normal, but that's what I get used to. Mistreatment became normal because even before my first husband, I have experience in a relationship domestic violence. But you know, when you like the culture I was in, men, if he does not hate you, he does not love you. If man he does not get jealous of you, he does not love you. So those that I've been taught, like I thought was normal. Oh, he
Which
must.
is not normal.
It's not normal, but oh, you're beautiful. He's jealous of you because he loves you. He does not want another man to see you, and those things that subconsciously, and it just became part of something you know, and you don't respond to mistreatment. I was not responding to mistreatment, so I thought like, okay, he loves me. So when I came to here, I didn't know the culture. I just thought like, okay, this is I don't know. He was very aggressive, and I left my son back home with my mom. It was a promise he made. He's gonna bring my son when he come to. I came to America, but that it takes me 10 years to see my son.
10 years.
10 years. It's a long story, but yeah.
Oh, and I know you are so proud of him now because he did graduate high school. Tell us what he's doing.
He's So my son, my oldest son, I see him as a reflection of me. Things that we similar experience, views. He's not where he's supposed to be right now because he has his own things that he's dealing with, his own trauma. And as mother, all I do is love and pray for him. This is the reason I want to do for the young generation, because my children, they are the future. This is how I see the future that's going to make a difference as my family, you know. So how we raise our children, what we let them experience, and that's what they become. And my oldest son, I left him with my mom coming here. None, again, I believe in my life of survival, like just I have to survive. And most of the time we've been taught to survive, not to live, you know. So because of that, I left him with the person that abused me. It was extended family. He abused my son too. I didn't find out until 2000, almost 16. So he's not where he's supposed to be, but I pray that I'm there for him when he needs me and encourage him, pray with him. But I told him, like, listen, we always have to walk our walk. And some things I can fight with you, some things that I cannot fight with you, you have to fight. So, yeah,
It's tough.
it very,
And I can see, you tearing up.
it
This
is.
is difficult to discuss, but I want to commend you for being brave enough to share your story and help others because that's what it's about, spreading a message to help in domestic violence and human trafficking. So you end up in Jacksonville, North Carolina.
Yes, I love this place.
And another place that you love is the community college. Tell us how they're helping you.
You gonna make me cry. I started going to Coastal Community College 2006 because the love I had for education I didn't have, and I didn't give up. They didn't give up on me. Every time like life happened, my first marriage and end, I dropped the school because I didn't speak English well. I couldn't read, be honest, right? But and they were there every time I come back. They were there, and yeah. And finally, the second marriage, and I resigned my job, and to go back to school. And I got pregnant with my son, the youngest one. Then I was bit. I couldn't go to school, but then I said I have to go back.
Yes.
And what this is the reason that I want to do this because when life happens and when we don't learn when we're supposed to learn our age is not easy. And being in the class, it was great. I was with kids that my children age, but that motivated me. Also, they were 60, 70. They're trying to get the GED, but life happened here. It's not easy to learn things that you're supposed to learn years ago.
Yes.
That is very important education. Children, they're supposed to have everything they're supposed to have when they age. So I finally, July last year, I complete my GED. I got my GED.
That is wonderful.
Thank you.
Major accomplishment. And
Thank
we
you.
know the best is yet to come. I do want to ask you, Fatia, what inspired you? We kind of talked about your backstory. Mm-hmm. What gave you the guts to start Rise Above Abuse now?
My oldest son. My oldest son, I remember, was 2021 August. He came to me, and I've been trying to help him, but I told him, son, you have to finish your school. And I saw as mother at the time, because I myself, I dealt my trauma a different way. I just want to escape. No drugs, no alcohol, none of that. I would just want to escape. And also, I don't know if this makes sense to people, men became my drugs. I mean by that, because I repeatedly, those relationships abuse, so abusive relationship, that yes. became my drugs, and beating and all this. It was, and I was numb too, So with my son, he took a different route, like, oh my God, what I'm supposed to do? God give you this vision that you see, how I'm going to do that? Like, tell me how. And what people will say. How can I say this happened to me, happened to my son, when we pretended we were perfect family? I'm trying to at least make it perfect, When I married to my second husband, and I saw him as black man that's successful, and he retired Marine, pilot. That's what I wanted for my son. You know, and marry him. I thought that this man is gonna get my son. This is my son as black man. I was so nervous. Like when I brought him here at age 15, like, oh my God, what my son is gonna face. The anxiety, the overwhelming. Then I didn't take time to get to know the man that I brought to my children. That later on, they saw the domestic violence and all chaos. But for my oldest son, he was like, Mom, August, he came, he said, Mom, I don't know what I'm doing. Then, and we talked. I said, okay, I know now what it costs you. We know, me and you, we know. And then we start hearing back home, people that close to me, affected by this man, 8 children after us. We have to raise awareness about molestation and he was drugging them too. That's how we started. The purpose was like, we have to bring this awareness back home. And here we are.
And here you are in the U.S.
Yes, this is
raising
home too.
that same awareness.
Yes.
What do you hope to accomplish with your fashion show and awards program? Tell me the name of it.
We call hierarchy reward. So is reason we're doing this, one is to educate, to bring awareness to the community. And people, they might not realize that the cost of everything starts with community and the family. I don't think children are bad. It's just they're running from something. And we want to start from home and community saying this needs to stop. Because by bringing awareness, we can have a skit, 2 part of a skit about domestic violence and human trafficking. Some people might have some understanding how human trafficking works is some stranger's gonna get you in the car and take you, drug you. No, sometimes it's a woman. The one trafficking is a woman and girl that they've been programmed to make those things normal. And as business, mother trafficking her own daughter, her own son. And we trying to say, hey, sometimes it's not out. Let's take a look. What is going on in our family? What is going on in our community? And we bring extended family to our children. If you are a single mother, who are you bringing around your children?
Yes, and you have to ask those kinds of questions and look for the warning signs and
Yes.
also seek help.
Yes.
And your event is this Saturday, the 11th.
Yes.
What's the time and location and ticket price?
Surgeon City, 5th Street in
Jacksonville.
Jacksonville, North Carolina is 6 to 9. Ticket is $30.
And the money is going to help.
For one, we're trying to, this is our first event, and also we do support group. And we would like to connect with those that therapists, psychiatrists, because this is part of, because mental is very important. We don't realize that if our mental is not healthy, we're not going to be healthy.
And that's an important message and a great place to end this conversation.
Thank
Fatia,
you.
thank you so much for talking to me. Thanks for being so brave. Her initiative, again, is called
Rise Above Abuse Now.
Rise Above Abuse Now. I'm Valentina Wilson in your community.